Since day one.
My great grandfather was a businessman. My granddad was a businessman. My dad is a businessman, and I can officially say I'm a businessman now as well.
Talk more about that then. Let's get into it. Let's get into the business too, because I want
side, yeah.
the business side of the conversation.
So-
Talk more about that.
I've always had a very unique perspective of a 9 to 5 job to a business.
Mm.
You know, I've experienced both sides now officially, and 100% there are pros and cons for a 9 to 5. You know, you do your job, you get your salary by the end of the month, and that's it. In a business, you have to do your job in order to get your salary. You know, I don't know if I'm explaining.
It makes sense. Like you're saying, like you don't get paid unless it's not like you get paid at the end of the month.
Yeah.
You get paid when you do the job.
Exactly. So in a 9 to 5 is guaranteed that regardless what you do throughout the month, you will get your pay slip.
Yeah.
Because you've been working for that corporate company, right?
Yeah.
But in a business, if you don't work 2-3 days, your income by the end of the month will be less than what you expect.
Facts.
So yeah, I've been always dedicated to business itself. I've always been helping my dad. So one of the things that I implemented in my dad's business, maybe 7, 6, or 8 years ago, was when he used to go like for sale, because without sales there's no business, right? So he used to be a salesman itself. So 8 years ago he used to take these like big catalogs to show products. And I was like, Dad, you can't be taking, 5 kg of catalogs like to your clients.
People have to like go through it.
Yeah, literally, for them to go through one by
While
one.
you just stand there and wait.
So what I did was find these on internet, because internet has everything.
Yeah.
The bad side of internet and the good side of internet, but that's another.
Yeah,
thing.
that's
a
another
different
conversation.
one. That's a deep one.
That's another one.
Literally, people are making, doing bad things.
Yes.
But they're making good money.
Yes.
So, but yeah, what I was saying, that he used to take these like catalogs, and I used to be like, nah, Dad, we ain't doing this anymore. So I was like, let me implement all this catalog into an iPad. Because that was the time when the iPad came, I think maybe 10 years ago now, but we still didn't know like the actual use of it.
Yeah.
So I had to make a whole catalog for him, which is, still use it. It's like a 400-page catalog, but at least all the products are there, updated prices, references.
It's clean.
Yeah,
it's like,
clean.
like
it's quick.
Yeah.
If you need like a type of category,
Just pop.
you just click on it. So he was like very appreciated for that, because I remember him carrying like bags of like maybe your dad had the same, because we have the same business. And yeah, it was just that dedication that I was like, yeah, business is the only way I want to,
What was your experience like too, in terms of what was your introduction to business? Because that's fascinating. The fact that you talked about like how even as a kid you had that around you, able to see that actually I want to make that. That's what I would change, like that gives you that idea when you get older. Be actually I can do this.
And I was 16 at that age. Like I wasn't even like into uni or anything. I was at school.
Yeah.
But seeing my dad hustle made me think like, how can I improve this hustle? Like how can I make it easier for him to go and attend his clients?
Yes, and then you kind of take that on yourself, that responsibility.
And where did I get this? From our teacher, Mr. Giles.
Mr. Giles,
shout out Mr. Giles. I don't even know who you are, but shout out to you.
He's our IT teacher. Like me, him, and Dinesh, bro, we used to like kill it in ICT.
Yeah.
And yeah, I got the best practical grade of A level.
Is that true, Dinesh?
It's facts, bro.
Oh shit.
And you know what's the funny part?
What?
There were so many students in that class that they used to think we were like fooling around, but in the background they didn't know that we were gonna come top of the game.
On top, bro.
You had the strategy, you had the mentality.
We had it.
You got to the teacher first and start getting information straight from the
Networking,
teacher.
bro. It is.
Networking from the beginning.
Since day one, bro.
Day one. It's in our blood.
Yeah.
But no, I was asking, what was that experience like for you? How were you introduced to business, and what was your perspective on that?
Most definitely, bro. I mean, for me I didn't have much exposure to my dad's business until I grew up. I mean, he was always on either business trips or, I can imagine similar to you. He was always out of the house, right? So he would come at night. I wouldn't see him much. So I think once I became a teenager, then the conversation started taking place. You said with your parents, you understand what you want to do in the future. And that's usually when your parents are businessmen. Well, they start introducing certain topics, ideas to you. And I think that was the first engagement I had with him. At times, I would also meet his clients. And just be in the background, just listening, taking information in, right? And you see these conversations, how they treat your dad, how your dad goes about business.
Yeah.
it's it's inspiring, right? So I think that was initially it. As I got older, closer to my early 20s, well, my dad was also very anti-corporate. I mean, I remember when I finished university, he was like, "Okay, when are you gonna start with me?" I was like, "Dad,
Same here.
I need a few years, bro." Exactly.
Same here.
But that would be a bit of the exposure. I think that's one of the reasons I chose sales as a career, tech sales specifically, just because within the corporate world, I mean, you can do a 9 to 5, but most jobs, based on your output, you want to make more money. So I think for the average person who has, is driven from a financial perspective, sales is a good career, just because whatever you put in, you're gonna get out. One of those jobs that you can triplicate your salary based on commission, right? So I think that also is within the same business perspective. As you did mention, sales is the bloodline of any business, whether you work in a corporate or your own business. I think as time took place I started realizing, these managers, they might treat me well, they might pay me these bonuses and whatnot, but do they really care about me in the end?
Or am I just another headcount?
Go on.
It's just another headcount, bro.
Yeah, that's true.
The thing is, you could be dead tomorrow, and in 2 weeks, your posting will be out.
Replace you, yeah.
And that's it.
Yeah.
So, you start thinking as in, who do I want to work with? Or who do I want to grow their business? Well, that would be, my dad's business. And, as previously mentioned, everything they've done for us, as you get older, you start thinking more about these things. And it's only the fair thing, they've been there for you. So when they grow old, you're going to be there for them, bro.
Literally.
And that would be a bit of the exposure. Not as quite as Felix. He's a businessman right now. But, I mean, touch wood, hopefully soon.
Hopefully, 100%. And I think, yes, I mean, just hearing you speak and how you think about it, I think you're right. It's a matter of time. And yeah, Felix will be there to give us both advice when we get there.
100%.
I want to also talk about just kind of define what we mean by starting our own business and like that path that we're on. How do we start in View Polish? How do you define success? Like in whatever path you're on, whatever you're trying to achieve in life, how would you define success both professionally but also personally?
That's a deep question.
Deep question. That's what happens on this podcast, bro.
Yeah.
My guy.
Success. So obviously success is everyone's different perspective. So for someone, success would be a lot of money, a lot of financial stability. Someone would be, so I remember when I used to work in recruitment, and I used to speak to a lot of candidates. So they would define what success is for them. And that's how I started to notice the main factors that, evolve around success itself. So it's an acronym for METH. So it's
of course.
Not that meth.
not that METH, but it's money, ego, time, and health. So these 4 factors.
Break that down for me a bit.
So
please.
these are the 4 factors that when someone is choosing a new job, choosing a career path, they would look into these factors, like are all the factors being balanced out for me. And when I used to speak to candidates, like I used to go through that and dig down, like what do they actually need. Someone didn't want to commute that much. Someone wanted a little bump in the salary. Someone wanted to give their time to their children, to go do the school runs. And someone wanted to have a nice title, for the LinkedIn to get more jobs and just, show the world that they are a senior or a manager. So it used to be different factors itself. But when I started looking into these factors, I was like, okay, in a corporate job, it's very difficult. It's very difficult for you to find a balance in all those 4 things.
100%.
But when it comes to the business, that balance is found there.
Really?
And that's when I thought, like, I did 2 jobs here in London. So I was here nearly 3 years, just exploring the corporate world. And for example, when I switched from my first job to another job, my main factor was time. Because I used to commute 2 hours.
Jesus, I remember.
That's crazy, bro. 2 hours.
I wouldn't see the man in the house, bro.
In London, that's crazy.
It was crazy. So it used to be from Hayes and Harding to like somewhere in Maidenhead or something like that.
That's crazy. And then back also when you finished.
Yeah. So it was 2 hours, and the bus used to come every 30 minutes. So it was a hustle. But I was like, look, it's my first job. I wanted to get into this country regardless, because we just came out of COVID and hardly anyone was hiring because everyone's situation was very difficult. But because I found that job, I was like, look, you know what? I'm gonna get the experience, make the most out of it, and and find a new job. Then suddenly I just got a random message on LinkedIn from one of the biggest recruitment companies in the world. So yeah, it was just finding the success.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, finding the success in that time was the time.
And how has it changed for you now? Like, so obviously now you're in your own business.
Yeah.
How's that that meth, whatever you call it, money, ego, time, and health? How's that defined for you now?
For me right now, all of them are balanced right now. Like I have money.
Yes, sir.
I got my ego now.
Yes.
So now I can say like I'm a co-founder.
Yes.
And a CEO.
Yeah.
You know, I got my own title for myself. I got my time. So that's why I'm here today. You know, I know I've done everything of what I can in my hands till Wednesday. I know that Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday I can relax. That's why I came here, you know, to London, see my friends and everything. And health-wise, I've become more, you know, like a routine has been set for my life now. So I know that I need to wake up at 7, go to the gym, then go to the office, you know. And yeah, that's been balanced out. Like when I used to be working in a corporate job, it used to be a 9 to 5, but then you would go, you know, pub, have drinks.
Yes, sir.
You're right. Yeah.
The lifestyle would become
100%.
You would start feel stuck in the matrix, you know.
It is, bro.
And yeah, some people like it because at the end of the day, some people have different goals in life. Some people are happy with their payslip, you know, and some people want just more and more and more. And I think I'm the other type of person.
100% agree with you, and I think I've spoke about this before. I get caught up in that, man. I get caught up in that feeling. Sometimes when I'm in a stable 9 to 5 job, I'm like, should I be here? Like it feels like I'm on a hamster wheel, just keep going round and round and round.
Yeah.
And it's like sometimes I'm like, okay, you need to be patient because you're trying to get somewhere. But other times I'm like, no, you need to make a move. Do you relate to that experience? Like, how do you feel about like just like you mentioned that acronym about when people are trying to define their own success, what they want from life, you know, like and also what are some of your definitions of success professionally?
Definitely. I mean, I think many points Pelage said would be the same for me. I mean, you know, if you're money motivated, money's going to be a big factor, but also health, because at the end of the day, people don't really realize that if your body is healthy, your mind's going to be healthy, and in turn you're going to make more money. Flexibility is very important. I think nowadays with remote working, hybrid working, people have very much value that, you know, they don't need to give their life to a business, can have more of a balance while being in the matrix, but that's a different conversation.
Matrix is real, guys.
It really is. But I mean, for me is many factors. I mean, success is, you know, what is success? We can put the financial side. You know, maybe someone has goals to become a millionaire. Maybe that's success for them. For others, it's also being very close to their family, being loved and having a sense of belonging within a community. Also family down the line. I think many people, they don't have much purpose in life. They just work because they need to pay their bills. But once kids come in, that's their focus. I think our parents, that would be for it, right?
Yeah.
I mean, they don't work for themselves. They work for their kids.
Literally.
That's something we hear every
Especially
day.
Indian parents, like Asian parents. They would just save money,
100%,
money. And if you
100%.
ask, what are you going to do with this money?
Yeah.
And they're going to be like,
It's for you.
It's for you.
It's for you, bro.
And I think that's how I've become now. I want to save money for my kids, you know? And I hope that works throughout the line of...
We'll get into that. We get into kids and family and how we prioritize our life for that. But I wanted to ask, so you were talking about the importance of health and the importance of figuring out what you want from your life.
Definitely.
Able to try balance how your balance should be. What are some of the ways that you make sure you don't get too overburdened with work, but also can balance that work-life balance for you?
Great point, man. I mean, I think because I work in sales, it's very, you know, one day you can have a great day and the next one it's horrible. One day you won't have free time, another one you will. It's just, for me, what has worked is, you know, the first few weeks of the start of the month, just hustle. And then that allows you to build enough pipeline, you know, from a sales perspective to then take it a bit more easy. And it's also having a balance in terms of, well, regardless if I'm in the office, I'm at home having a good diet. I think that's very important. And then, you know, making sure you have time to see your family, your friends as well. And having a routine in terms of, you know, you wake up, you go to the gym, you go to your 9 to 5, you get out, have a walk, see your friends. It's involving every different aspect in the same day, right? So for now, it's worked. I mean, when I first started working, I used to work in a 9 to 5, which was every day in the office. And I think that was quite hard.
That is definitely hard.
It
That
is.
insane.
Because you come out and you're fried in the head. I mean, do you want to work out? Probably not,
Yeah,
right?
it's 6 p.m. and you're like,
Just
what
wanna go
am I
lay
going to do in my
down.
life?
Exactly,
It's
bro.
done. Day's done.
Yeah.
So in that case, I think when you're struggling in a corporate job, it's good to have people close within the same company as you, because they know what you're going through. You know what they're going through. It also creates a bit of a community. But I mean, I think a balance you learn as you go. I don't know if there's a formula at this stage. I think once you become a business owner, it's very different. I mean, you did mention currently you're covering all the meth things, right? But perhaps in the future you got to grind one more than the other, right?
I know.
And it's also a blessing that you and your cousin that work together.
Yeah.
Well, you can partake different responsibilities and get a balance with both, right?
Yeah.
But there's many factors. I think it comes as it goes. There's no specific formula. It's just making sure you're busy,
Yeah.
eating healthy, working out, and seeing the people you care about while hustling as well. Because
Yes,
we got to make those speeds, right?
You got to make those peas, 100%. I was also going to ask, what's some of the...
Before you ask, I want to ask you,
Go on.
what are your motivational factors at work?
Um,
Work, like professionally, not lifestyle.
I know what you mean. I know what you mean.
Yeah.
I think for me, it's definitely trying to build a business. I've always wanted to be in control of my own destiny.
Yeah.
I think anything I've done, so like even the podcast, I was like, okay, I have to create something of value. So like, I think once you create something of value, then maybe you can make value out of that thing.
Yeah.
You can like actually try to like make money off the thing or build a business around that idea. So the first stage was I didn't want to do that 9 to 5. I hate that. Even though
I remember
I hate that 9 to 5. Just someone being in control of your life and feeling like you're not doing anything over a cause long. I don't know what it is, but
Having targets and everything.
yeah, it just doesn't sit with me for the long term.
Micromanagement.
That's what it is, and I'm not in control
I've
of.
been there.
It's like you said about the money. I'm not in control of how much money I make.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
maybe one day I have a very good day, but it goes to that person that comes tickles
Exactly,
down.
bro.
That's why you choose sales, bro.
That's also true.
It's
That's
good for
also
culture.
true.
Yeah,
So
sales has no limit, bro.
That's also
In
true.
in a normal job, for as a manager or something, okay, they'll get their little bonus. They'll get a monthly target to hit. Okay. But in sales, the more you sell, the more you get.
You get home, bro.
And I feel like sales is a good setup for when you do your own business, because like
Yeah.
he said, business is sales.
Yeah.
It's the bloodline, bro.
It's the bloodline. So if you can bring the money and you can
Exactly.
keep your business going.
It is.
I want to, okay, on that point also, what are some of the stuff you've noticed? So now you've started your own business.
Yeah.
You're like really in the economy now, right? Because you're one of the movers. What are some of the stuff you've noticed from just trading internationally, but also starting your own business and that like path of becoming an entrepreneur?
Yeah. I mean, there are a lot of factors. Like, there's a whole list I could name, but I think one of the main things that I've learned is patience. In business, if you don't have patience, then it's a wrap.
bro.
It's a wrap. Because I remember like the first 2 months, maybe I was like, wow, when is the first good deal gonna come? When is the first deal gonna come? I'm doing everything. I'm doing, in our culture, we believe in a lot of karma. So we are like, whatever you put in, you're gonna get it. But it's a question of time and patience.
How much time you're gonna put in? 100%.
So I was, very hustling. I was traveling, going around, calling my cousin, who I'm literally a founder with, and he's the guy who put me into this business. He's the guy who showed me like how that business runs. Just because he has more experience in that industry itself. And I was just, going on travel, meeting new clients, but nothing was coming through. And that's where I learned, like, if you want to open your own business, you gotta have patience. Because if you don't have patience, then it's gone.
It's gone, yeah.
Gone.
It's patience.
It
And
is.
yeah, I can imagine. Okay, scoping out a bit, right? We're three business-minded people, but I want to get your point of view. What are some of the things, just in looking at out in the world, what are some of the business that you think are going to be interesting in the future? Like, what are some, like, markets you think is going to blow up? Or, like, what do you, like, because to me, right, I look outside and I'm thinking, like, AI, whatever that is coming and it's going to just decimate everything.
It's not leaving.
It's not leaving. It's
not
going to change the market. So that's one way that I know, okay, something's going to change. If you had to just think for a bit, I know it's like there's no right answer to this, but yeah, what are some of the things that you think might change in the future?